Present us, O Lord, in all our doings with thy most gracious favour, and further us with thy continual help, that in all our works, begun, continued, and ended in thee, we may glorify thy holy name, and finally by thy mercy, attain everlasting life. Amen. Introduction of guests. I recognize the Minister of Trade and Export.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request leave for an extended introduction.
Minister has requested leave for an extended introduction. Is leave granted?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to introduce a number of guests seated in your gallery today. Her Excellency Ms. Yulia Kovali, Ambassador of Ukraine to Canada. She has served in this role since March of 2022. Joining her is Mr. Vasyl Bodnar, Councillor for Economic Issues, Embassy of Ukraine to Canada. He has served in this role since July of 2023. Joining these dignitaries are members of the Saskatchewan-Ukraine Relations Advisory Committee, or SURAC. Ken Kravets, Chair. Gerald Lusiak, past Chair. Angela Wojciechowski, Irina Matsuk, Marianne Trischuk, and Jim Shevchuk. I would like to thank the SURAC Committee for their ongoing work and engagement with the Ukrainian Committee. I had the opportunity to meet with the Ambassador and Councillor this morning, along with the Premier, to discuss the very strong relationship that our two jurisdictions share, especially in agriculture, energy, and critical minerals. Since Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022, Saskatchewan has pledged various supports for Ukraine, including 5 chartered flights, employment opportunities, and access to social and housing programs. Over the last 3 years, the province has welcomed nearly 8,000 Ukrainians to the province who now call Saskatchewan home. These individuals bring with them a wealth of skills, knowledge, and culture that adds to our growing province and our high quality of life. This is reflected in Saskatchewan's provincial motto, "From many people's strength." The group will be touring several locations around the province and meeting with various community leaders, and I hope that they will get to see the very best of what Saskatchewan has to offer and that they experience our warm hospitality during their stay. This marks the Ambassador's first visit to Saskatchewan, so I'd ask all members to welcome these dignitaries and members of SURAC to the Legislature.
I recognize the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is indeed an honour to be on my feet and join with the Minister today to welcome this delegation to their Assembly and to the visitors to our Assembly today. The first-time visit for the Ambassador. I'd like to welcome her, as well as Councillor Wagner and the members of the Saskatchewan Ukrainian Advisory Committee. As is sometimes remarked in this Assembly, sometimes it's hard to find common ground in this Assembly, and sometimes it's very easy. And certainly in the response to the terrible illegal invasion of Ukraine by Russia, we had unanimous support on the floor of this Assembly. We heard from the Ambassador that although this was the first visit to Saskatchewan for her, it already feels like home, and I'm sure that we will see her again here in this Assembly and across our province. There's really nothing better when it comes to hearing that such an esteemed guest comes here and finds a feeling of home here in our province. And we are glad for that, and we think of the people that you represent, that you work for back in Ukraine. They are in our hearts and in our thoughts. And I think you have agreement from not only the members on the floor of this Assembly, but from Saskatchewan people right across this beautiful province, that we hope one day very soon that the shelling will stop, and that we look forward to working with you to help in the rebuilding process of your beautiful country, a country that means so much to the people of Saskatchewan. With that, Mr. Speaker, I would invite all members of this Assembly to join me in welcoming the Ambassador and the delegation here today to this Assembly.
I recognize the Provincial Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request leave for an extended introduction.
Members requested leave for an extended introduction. Is leave granted?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to join with the Minister and Leader of the Opposition in welcoming the Ambassador and Councillor to our Legislature, as well as the members of SURAC. As Provincial Secretary and Legislative Secretary responsible for Saskatchewan-Ukraine relations, it is my honour to welcome these folks. I had the opportunity to meet with them earlier for lunch. We had very good discussions and about opportunities and challenges as we move forward. Earlier this year, I was joined by SURAC and the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress here at the Legislative Building for the 3rd anniversary of Russia's invasion on Ukraine. The Government of Saskatchewan continues to stand with the people of Ukraine as we wish for peaceful end to the ongoing conflict. And if everyone can please welcome the Ambassador and the Councillor, and as well as the SURAC Committee from Ukraine. Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Premier. I have one more introduction. I'm sorry, if that's possible. I do have my daughter in the gallery here, in the Speaker's gallery today, and she is a Ukrainian Canadian. Her name is Katerina. And I just wanted to introduce her to the House today. This is the first time that she's been able to sit in the Speaker's gallery and watch question period, and she's someone that has helped me along with all of my campaigning, been an absolute trooper, and this young woman has been an incredible, I guess would say a role model for many, many youth. She started making jewelry during COVID, and she started selling the jewelry in a variety of markets and so on, and gave most of the money to breast cancer awareness and as well to the shelters, women's shelters in Saskatoon. She continues to do so. So I'd like to welcome Katerina here to this her assembly, and I'd ask for everyone else to welcome her as well. Thank you.
I recognize the Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Very quickly to follow with welcoming the Ukrainian ambassador to Canada here. Thank her for her meeting this morning. But more importantly, I think thank her and our Saskatchewan delegation for their guidance over the last number of years as we work as a province across the floor of the Assembly for sure to support Ukrainians here and abroad and support more generally the Ukrainian community. I remember our first meeting in Ottawa some time ago where we worked together to organize what some of that support has looked like over the last number of years. And much of what you've seen done in this province is due to the guidance that has been provided by these folks that have joined us here today. So I thank each of them for that guidance. I also, just very quickly, Mr. Speaker, would like to introduce two members that used to sit on the floor of this Assembly that I see just entered. First being a founding member of this party is Dan Dotremont. And with him is a former member, not only that sat on the floor of this Assembly, but sat in this very chair, and that is former Premier Grant Devine. Welcome, both of you and many others, to your legislative assemblies.
I just wanted to join in too to say to the Ambassador, we appreciate having you here today. Behind you, we have two staff members in the building who arrived from Ukraine not that long ago. And I haven't worked very closely with them, but two things I can say about the both of them is that they are very kind and very hardworking. And so Maria Mikolajchuk, she is working in CIC office, and she's the smiley one there, sitting up behind you. She works with the minister in the office and serves our province very well. And the one that looks like the rugby player beside her, he's a security guard in the building. That's Mikhailo Kodolochka, and Kodochka, and that's because he is a rugby player. And these two We're very appreciative to the nation of Ukraine for raising such fine people and allowing them to serve alongside of us here in this chamber. So I wish we would welcome them to their Legislative Assembly. I recognize the member from Saskatoon, New Tanner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd just like to join with the Premier opposite and welcoming the delegation here from Ducks Unlimited Canada. We enjoyed a very productive conversation this morning. I want to make special mention of Premier Devine, former Speaker Dan D'Autremont, Michael Champion and Paul Thorogood. Thank you so much, and I would wish all members to join me in welcoming them to their legislature.
I recognize the Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Request leave for an extended introduction.
Minister has requested leave for an extended introduction. Is leave granted?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to introduce to this House, seated up in your gallery, several members from SEIU West representing LPNs, continuing care assistants, and several other professions from healthcare facilities all across the province, Mr. Speaker. I had, as part of National Nurses Week, I had an opportunity to meet with several SEIU West members yesterday and have a productive discussion on how we can continue to work together to improve the healthcare system, not only for patients and their families, but also our health workforce that works so hard to provide the care for patients and families in this province every day. Mr. Speaker, I would just pay special note to Barb Cape, the president of SEIU West. She is not running for re-election at SEIU West. Later this month, I asked her yesterday how long she served in that role. It's approximately 17 years, and the reality is leadership in any context is challenging. And so I just want to thank Barb for her service on behalf of her membership all across the province. I would ask all members to welcome these SEIU West members to their legislature today.
Hear, hear.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. And while I'm on my feet, I'll just like to quickly welcome Mr. Jim Shevchuk, who is almost a neighbor of mine back home in Battleford. Jim has done some incredible work through SURAC, but back home we know Jim locally, or Mr. Shevchuk to most, as a very well-respected educator and somebody who they want to send their kids to the school that Jim works at. And so we just want to thank Jim for his work in the education sector, but as well to the Ukrainian community here in Saskatchewan. Thank you.
I recognize the member from Saskatoon, Meewasin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. To you and through you, I just want to join with the minister opposite in welcoming this fantastic delegation of LPNs and SEIU West members to their legislative assembly. Mr. Speaker, give us a wave as I read your names here today. We're joined by Lisa Zunti, Kyla Kuffner-Cameron, Crystal Mays, and Jessica Perot. Mr. Speaker, we had an absolute pleasure of meeting with them here today, and I also had the opportunity to tour them through their legislative assembly and show them all the things in this building that we all get to work in. Mr. Speaker, LPNs do fantastic work in our healthcare system. They have so much opportunity to bring, and that is what we had a discussion about today with our shadow ministers of health and rural and remote health. Mr. Speaker, I've been workshopping this one, and you know, these LPNs are truly heroes of our healthcare system, but not all heroes wear capes. But they are joined here today by SEIU West leadership, President Barbara Cape and Vice President Jason Monteith. Mr. Speaker, I just want to say just a huge thank you to the leadership that Barb has provided to all of her members at SEIU West, and it has also just been a great honor to get to know Jason more as we have been out on their info picket lines over the last little while, raising awareness that healthcare workers have gone for numerous years without wage increases because they've gone numerous years without a collective agreement. And so, Mr. Speaker, to you and through you, I just want to ask all members to join me in welcoming these LPNs and this union leadership to their legislative assembly.
I recognize the Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To you and through you, Mr. Speaker, I would like to introduce the following individuals from Ducks Unlimited Canada. Michael Champion, Manager of Industry and Government Relations and Priority Projects. Paul Thurgood, Director of Regional Operations. And the Honourable Grant Devine, Board of Directors. And also my predecessor to Cannington, Mr. Dan Dudemont, former Speaker. Myself, along with the Minister of Environment and members for Cutknife, Turtleford and Kindersley-Biggar, had the opportunity to meet with this group earlier today. We discussed opportunities for collaboration around water conservation, irrigation development, and advancing agriculture. I want to thank them for the productive conversation, and I ask all members to join me in welcoming them to their Legislative Assembly.
I recognize a member from Cumberland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to find my feet really quickly. I just noticed up in your gallery the leadership on the top row from Supply Build Canada. I had the opportunity to meet with them yesterday and understand the issues that's facing their industry on both sides of the border, and I just want to thank them for their advocacy, for the members that they represent, and really appreciate the ongoing dialogue with our team here on the official opposition on how we can help their members be successful here in Saskatchewan, and I ask all members join me in welcoming them to the provincial legislature.
I recognize the member from Weyburn-Bengoff.
Mr. Speaker, I'd request leave for an extended introduction.
Members requested leave for an extended introduction. Is leave granted?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have 5 individuals today to introduce. I'll start with 3 individuals from Supply Build Canada. I know they met with the Minister of Trade and Export Development earlier this morning, and then I was lucky enough to have a very quick lunch. Not long enough, I must say, Mr. Speaker. We had many issues we could have continued to talk about. But from Supply Build Canada, we have the President, Liz Kovach, and then beside her, Dwight Bouchard, and then beside him, Jeff Chessel. And Mr. Speaker, just a special mention about Mr. Jeff Chessel. He's from my constituency. He's from Weyburn. He's a business owner. But more importantly, he's a philanthropist. He's been very involved with the Weyburn Young Fellows, and he's seen at many community events. So again, thank those 3 individuals for coming to their legislature today. And next, Mr. Speaker, also in the back row, I have Chris and Twyla McDougall. They are here representing the South Saskatchewan chapter of Cystic Fibrosis Canada. Chris, he's acted as our treasurer for many years now, and Chris and Twyla both have a daughter with cystic fibrosis named Ella, and she's a warrior in her own. Chris and Twyla together have been very instrumental in their advocacy for cystic fibrosis on behalf of, I must say, every resident of Saskatchewan, Mr. Speaker. So again, thank you publicly for all you've done for individuals living with cystic fibrosis in this province. And with that, I would just like to welcome all 5 individuals to their Legislative Assembly.
I recognize the member from Regina Mount Royal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Very briefly, because I've had the privilege of introducing them in the past, but I want to welcome once again my constituents, Chris McDougall, Twyla McDougall, to their assembly. These are incredible champions with respect to cystic fibrosis. Their daughter Ella is an inspiration. Their family as a whole is an inspiration. And I just want to welcome these 2 amazing parents, community members, and leaders with respect to cystic fibrosis to their assembly. Ask all members to provide a very warm welcome.
I recognize the Minister of Social Services.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Request for a very brief extended introduction.
The Minister has requested a very brief extended introduction. Is leave granted?
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's Disability Services Professional Weeks in Saskatchewan. And joining us here today are some of the dedicated, hardworking individuals who ensure people with disabilities are valued, supported, and included members of their communities. Mr. Speaker, to you and through you, and to all members of the Assembly, it's my pleasure today to introduce a group of individuals in the West Gallery representing the Saskatchewan Association of Rehabilitation Centres. Last week, Mr. Speaker, SARC was in the building for an MLA reception, which was a great opportunity to connect with a number of disability service professionals, the clients they serve, as well as SARC's Executive Director, Amy McNeil, who unfortunately is unable to join us here today. In the West Gallery, I'm pleased to introduce Melanie Weiss, Janelle Champ, Marilyn Collier, Abigail Douglas, Shinto Matthew, Nicole Morin, Lynn DeMel, Charlene Verbert, Carolyn McIntyre, Tegan Bosley, Cara Dereniski, Eric Taylor, Tricia Broomfield, Lana Kincaid, and Lindsay Kalfas. These individuals, Mr. Speaker, represent just some of the 4,600 plus employees who provide essential services to over 6,300 individuals experiencing intellectual and developmental disabilities across the province. SARC supports individuals in over 90 communities across the province and works to ensure that they have access to services that enhance their quality of life. So once again, Mr. Speaker, I ask that all members join me in welcoming these individuals from SARC this afternoon to their Legislative Assembly.
I recognize a member from Saskatoon Southeast.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to echo what the Minister of Social Services said and acknowledge that it is Disability Professionals Week, and I would like to join him in welcoming the guests behind me that I can't see, that are disability advocates. People in the disability sector work extremely hard and are often underpaid and underappreciated. And I'm so grateful that they are joining us today, and truly am grateful for everything that they do. I would like to ask all members to join me in welcoming these guests.
I recognize a member from Moose Jaw, Waccamaw.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request leave for an extended introduction.
Requested leave for an extended introduction. Is leave granted?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my pleasure to introduce a stakeholder from my constituency who's seated in your gallery, Thunder Creek Rehabilitation. This very incredible organization provides support services to help those in recovery and strengthen our community. They provide support through safe detox, supportive housing, wraparound services, and medication management to those with long-term mental illnesses and substance abuse disorders. So I'm just going to introduce them quickly. So we have Ali Bell, the Director of Inpatient Services, who is a registered social worker. Jocelyn McLeod, the Director of Outpatient Services, who writes all the policy and does all the behind-the-scenes work. And then lastly, Chad Top. Chad Top is the Executive Director of Thunder Creek Rehabilitation. We actually went to high school together. He has over 20 years experience working in mental health and addictions. I'm really proud to introduce this group of individuals because they do the work that they do, and it's not easy work, because they love supporting people and helping them to lead more fulfilling lives. Please join me in welcoming these incredible individuals from Thunder Creek Rehabilitation to their Legislative Assembly.
I recognize a member from Regina Rochdale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to echo the member opposite in welcoming these wonderful advocates for addiction services to their legislature. And while I'm on my feet, I'd also like to welcome some more nurses, as it's Nursing Week again, to join the other nurses that have visited us here today. Dr. Florence Luanga is nursing prof here at the University of Saskatchewan program. I worked with her in Africa when we did some work-study tour there a few short years ago. Along with her, accompanying her is PhD student Amanda Medikawane. She's doing her research and PhD in early childhood education and inclusive education. I'd also like to welcome Wyatt Munson. We went to nursing school together as well, and he's currently a registered nurse in the ER here in Regina General Hospital. Welcome, and thank you for being wonderful pillars and mentors in the field of nursing here in Canada and around the world.
I recognize a member from Kenora Pelly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, to you and through you, I would like to introduce the former and last MLA for the Pelly constituency up in your gallery, Rod Gardner. He served as the MLA from 1986 till 1991, when Pelly combined with Kenora to make the constituency we now have. Accompanying him are his two friends, Michael and Teresa Pook. And I also see a little ways over to the left a friend of mine, Linda Osachoff. So I'd like to invite all members to welcome all 4 of them to their Legislative Assembly.
I recognize the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again today, we are blessed with so many leaders from across the province joining us today. I would like to join with others in welcoming all of the guests to their Legislative Assembly. We'll pay special note to former Premier Devine, former Speaker d'Outremont, former Minister Cravets. I believe we may have other former MLAs here. But I've forgotten to ask for leave for an extended introduction. It's going to be a bit longer because I am on my feet today to pay special tribute to someone who people across this province, certainly on the east side of this province, deeply and for good reason admire. On the occasion, I believe this may be a little bit of a surprise, of her, I'm not going to say the number, Mr. Speaker, but a very important milestone birthday for one Ms. Linda Osachoff. I know that we've had a lot of introductions today and important introductions. I'm going to try to keep my remarks focused, but this is a woman who has done so much good for the people of this province, whose biography, well, I'm just going to read off some of the highlights here, Mr. Speaker, to show the type of leadership we have in this woman that we celebrate today. Linda was born in East Central Saskatchewan, and she's lived in the RM of Keys for over 40 years. She grew up a farm girl with proud Doukhobor heritage and roots. She's had a great involvement in our party, Mr. Speaker. She ran for the NDP in Kenora-Pelly in 1986, and one former Premier Romano of this province described her as the best MLA the best cabinet minister, in fact, that Saskatchewan never had. I agree with that assessment, Mr. Speaker. She's someone who's been involved at every level in the Kenora-Pelly constituency, from president to campaign manager, and she's served on provincial council. She was elected leader or president of our party in 2018, Mr. Speaker, and she provided such incredible counsel to so many, such a strong, strong leader. She has a professional career that, Mr. Speaker, is remarkable. She served as the Director of Human Resources for the Assiniboine Valley Health Region in the 1990s. She was Director of Operations for the Saskatchewan Union of Nurses in the mid-2000s. She was also the CEO at Crossroads Credit Union. Talk about a well-rounded resume. She's also the founder and co-owner of La Campagna Bed and Breakfast, along with her husband Alfredo, who's joined her here today. And because busy people like to stay busy, her retirement job is working casual at the Kenora Hospital and Medical Clinic. I know she's someone who cares deeply about her community and cannot help herself but continue to dig in and provide her expertise and her care to people around her. She's someone who has worked on both management and union side, and her main focus, and I know this to be true, is to always find common ground, to find a path through. This is a leader who is a bridge builder, who is a consensus finder at a time when that type of leadership is all too rare and oh so needed. And thank you for that wonderful example that you have set for people around you, Linda. She's also a volunteer, of course she is. The SIAST Board of Directors in the 90s, the National Doukhobor Heritage Museum, she volunteers there, helps the Verrigan ladies with cooking, with pierogies and pierogi. I hope I said that right. And she shows leadership, as I said, in every role that she has. I think if there is a picture to go along with the saying, if you want to get something done, ask a busy person to do it. here is your poster child, Mr. Speaker. She also, that busy, also holds the heart of her family. And I know some of her family and her friends and admirers have joined her here today. She's Mama Linda to many, Baba to 3 amazing kids, Nora, Sasha, and Angus. She's a wonderful mom to her children, Nick, Tim, Corwin, who's here today, and Paige, who I understand is listening over the internet, Mr. Speaker. I'm told by her kids that they would have wonderful adventures as kids, including being snuck into cabinet meetings and the like, and they have fond memories of that. Linda has been described by her former sister-in-law as the most loyal friend you would ever have, someone who's a great bridge player, likes haiku, and you'll see that posted. She's a chef extraordinaire. But most of all, she's an incredible role model, an incredible strength to her family and the people around her, and like so many leaders in this province, someone who knows who she serves and has worked her entire life to make this province a better place. For that, Mr. Speaker, we are all grateful, and I would invite all members to join me in celebrating Linda Osachoff and wishing her a very happy milestone birthday. Thank you.
You're here.
I recognize a member from Regina Coronation Park.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To you, through you, it's my pleasure and honor to introduce and welcome a group of remarkable students from University of Regina and University of Saskatoon international students. They were, yesterday one group was here as well, and they were having a very serious kind of concerns and kind of frustration about the federal cuts, and their work permit are expired, some of them, and some of them are really showing concerns about their work permits will be expired very soon. So they were here to share with their concern with us. So I will request all members to join me and welcome this international student to their Legislative Assembly.
I recognize a member from Regina Pasqua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to introduce 6 guests sitting in the East Gallery. Ms. Lahora Singh Broad worked as engineer along with me in electricity board, just as power here, for more than 30 years. His wife, Preetam Kaur Broad, worked in education department as librarian. Mr. Bahadur Singh Toor is a farmer, and his wife, Sharnjit Kaur Toor, is a housewife. Their daughter is married to the son of Lahora Singh Broad and Preetam Kaur Broad, named Jaspendra Kaur. She is a nurse. She came here when we are recognizing the nursing week. Her daughter, along with her daughter, Mr. Speaker, both gentlemen worked voluntarily job during my election period. Mr. Speaker, to you, through you, I request to all the members on both sides, please join me and welcome them in their Legislative Assembly. Thank you.
Recognized member from Saskatoon University Sutherland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To you and through you, I would like to welcome 40 grade 8 students from Greystine Heights School. Also welcome to their teachers, Corey Parthing, Christine Lewin, and Cassandra Shanger. Greystine Heights School is a very prominent school in Saskatoon. It was opened in 1961. It has many special programs, including SAGE Gifted Education Resource Program and many others. I would like to meet you after the question period and answer your question, if any. I'll ask all the members to please join me to welcome these students and their teachers to their legislature.
And I would like to welcome a friend of the Legislative Assembly to his Legislative Assembly and his wife. So Ken and Carol Ring. sitting in the Speaker's Gallery. Ken came to the building in 1999 and became a table officer in 2007. And until you become the Speaker, you don't really realize how important the people in the robes, which thanks for the shout out that, people wearing capes are superheroes, because these four wearing the capes when I'm in trouble are, and before them was Ken Ring. And so Ken, I remember the days coming to your office, and I'm sure many of us here in the chamber spent time with you getting advice and counsel. And I would like to say personally that sometimes the advice you gave me as a friend was better than the advice, not that it was poor advice as a legal counsel, but you gave us good advice on both sides of life. And we just look forward to your retirement, that you're going to enjoy life with your wife and your pursuits moving forward. So please welcome Ken and Carol to their Legislative Assembly and help me in congratulating them on a beautiful life so far and many good years ahead. And you want to change the province and fix the world, and you go to hook up to the internet and it's not working. So a very important person who we have in the Assembly right now as well is Patrick Costa Murasan. He is the Principal Director of IT for the Ledge Assembly in this building, and we want to thank you. And to you and through you to all of your staff, we want to thank you. The fact that when we go to do our work in this building, that everything is secure and functioning well. So thank you very much. And finally, just one real quick, oh, no, I don't have two. I have two good friends sitting on the floor. Denny Simard, he's my first friend, Sasquatch friend. I didn't know that word until I met Denny. And so, Denny, welcome to your Legislative Assembly today. And finally, there's a Melfort boy up in the West Gallery. He is a current Ram, but he learned how to play football as a Comet. And very close family friends. The South family would be as close to the Gowdy family, though they may not admit it, for the last number of years. And so please welcome these ones to their Legislative Assembly. And with that, we will move to petitions. Presenting petitions. And I recognize the member from Regina, Wascana Plains.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to present a petition to the Legislative Assembly of Saskatchewan for the acceleration of construction of the new joint-use elementary and high school in East Regina. These residents of the province of Saskatchewan wish to bring attention to the following: that in September 2024, ahead of the provincial election, the Ministry of Education promised to build a new joint-use elementary school and high school in East Regina. There is currently no timeline for the completion and opening of either school. The Jack Mackenzie School in the east end of Regina is dangerously overcrowded. That the school's library, dance studio, and teacher's lounge have all been converted into temporary classrooms. That all children have a right to a well-rounded education in a safe environment. The prayer reads as follows. We respectfully request the Legislative Assembly of Saskatchewan call on the Government of Saskatchewan to immediately provide the support needed to complete and open the new joint-use school and high school in the East Regina as soon as possible. Mr. Speaker, the signatories today reside in Regina. I do so present.
I recognize the member from Saskatoon, New Tanner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to present a petition calling for the government to save our swales. We, in the prayer that reads as follows, respectfully request that the Legislative Assembly of Saskatchewan call on the provincial government to suspend planning for the Saskatoon Freeway and development around the swales until a regional cumulative effects assessment has been completed. Update the Wildlife Act and expand the list of wild species protected by provincial regulation, recognize the swales as important ecological habitat and designate them as protected areas, and fourth, ensure adequate long-term funding for research, management and enforcement to protect the swales for generations to come. This petition is signed by the residents of Saskatoon. I do so present.
I recognize the member from Saskatoon Eastview.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm honored to rise again and present a petition
to the Government of Saskatchewan, calling on this government to take immediate action to stand up for Indigenous children and all vulnerable students by advocating for the full restoration of funding previously supported by Jordan's principle. Mr. Speaker, the loss of 80 educational assistants in Saskatoon Public Schools stands in addition to resources that are already at a breaking point due to chronic underfunding and short staffing in our schools. I'll read the prayer, Mr. Speaker. We in the prayer that reads as follows, respectfully request that the Legislative Assembly of Saskatchewan stand up for Saskatchewan and advocate for the restoration of federal Jordan's Principle funding to support Indigenous students in school. Commit to sustainable, predictable, and equitable provincial funding for inclusive education across Saskatchewan and ensure education support workers have the resources and staffing they need to keep classrooms safe and support every student's learning journey. Today's petition is signed by residents of Prince Albert and St. Louis. I proudly do submit.
Hear, hear. Reading and receiving petitions. Statements by members. I will recognize the member from Weyburn-Bengal.
Excuse me. Mr. Speaker, May is considered Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Month. For 65 years, Cystic Fibrosis Canada has driven progress in research, advocacy, and care, helping people with cystic fibrosis live longer, healthier lives. Cystic fibrosis, or CF for short, is the most common fatal genetic disease affecting children and young adults in Canada, and there is no cure. CF has a multifaceted impact on the body, primarily targeting the digestive system and lungs. Approximately 4,400 Canadians and 130 residents of Saskatchewan are affected by CF. And in the past 5 years, half of the Canadians with CF have passed away at the age of 37 years or younger. Thanks to advancements in medications and treatment, the life expectancy of CF patients continues to increase, and Saskatchewan has and continues to lead the nation in coverage for treatment and medication. But our work is not complete, as successful treatments such as Trikafta are not effective for approximately 10% of the CF population. During the month of May, the national fundraiser hosted by Cystic Fibrosis Canada is the Walk to Make Cystic Fibrosis History. This event will be in its 21st year this year, and is expected that the event will take place in over 40 locations. This year, my family and friends once again will be participating on Team Teresa in the Walk to Make Cystic Fibrosis History in Regina on Sunday, May 25th. I would invite members on either side of the chamber to contact me if they're interested in participating this year. Thank you.
Hear, hear.
I recognize the member from Cumberland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to acknowledge an exceptional leader from Northern Saskatchewan on a remarkable leadership milestone. That leader being Chief Tammy Cook-Searson of the Lac La Ronge Indian Band. Hear, hear. For the last 20 years, she has served the people and communities of the Lac La Ronge Indian Band as chief, and before that, 8 years as a councillor. During her time in leadership, she has overseen and led her nation through many positive developments, such as the installation of water and sewer services and other infrastructure projects like bridges, fire halls, and the much-needed Woodland Wellness Centre that works to reconnect people to the land, find hope through ceremony, and work to reclaim traditional knowledge. Of course, Mr. Speaker, as we know, the real test of leadership does not come during the good times. It comes during the difficult times. And during those trying times, Chief Cook-Searson has provided decisive and stable leadership, whether it be wildfires threatening cabins, trap lines, or whole communities, or a severe mental health crisis that impacts the heart of a community. Chief Tammy Cook-Searson has been at the helm, working to help and improve the lives of the membership and communities which she represents. And lastly, as we all know, Mr. Speaker, holding an elected office requires many personal sacrifices and a solid network of support. So it would be an oversight not to acknowledge her family, to which she gives much appreciation and praise, her in-laws, her parents, and her husband, Jim. It is an honor to recognize Chief Cook-Searson in this legislature, and I ask that all members join me in commending her on this remarkable achievement of 20 years in her role as the Chief of the Lac La Ronge Indian Band. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I recognize the member from White City Capel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I'm sure all of us in the chamber can think of someone who we'd say is our hero or is known as a hero. A hero is a person admired for their actions, usually on behalf of helping others, and many times heroes have incredible character. That's the underlying driving factor in all they do. People often want to meet their heroes, be able to spend time with them, and many times heroes are older seasoned individuals. But today I'm excited, I'm thrilled to talk about a young lady who I believe is a hero to many people right here in Saskatchewan, from the great constituency of White City Capel. That hero I'm speaking of is 16-year-old Catherine Okolita. Catherine is a philanthropist and a kindness advocate. At 5 years old, Mr. Speaker, she founded Catherine's Cause, which to date has raised over $400,000 in cash and in-kind donations for numerous organizations. Her largest fundraising effort to date has been through an online auction that has supported the Regina NICU, where she's raised and donated almost $344,000. While volunteering, playing softball, umping, swimming, figure skating, coaching skating, curling, and being a pediatric ambassador for the Hospitals of Regina Foundation, Catherine has also maintained a 98% average as a grade 11 student. She's been awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal and just recently won the YWCA's Young Women of Distinction Award. Mr. Speaker, a hero to so many people. Please join me in congratulating a 16-year-old powerhouse of a young lady, Catherine Okolita.
I recognize the member from Saskatoon-Newchannel.
Mr. Speaker, on Sunday, I had the pleasure of driving Highway 5 out to Meacham to watch Paper Wheat at Dancing Sky Theatre. Members will know Paper Wheat as a classic Saskatchewan story first performed in 1977 that tells the story of prairie farmers banding together to take on the grain companies and get a fair price for their wheat. It's a story about neighbors helping neighbors, about long days and tough times, and about what can happen when regular folks decide enough is enough and stand together. The play's filled with good prairie humor, plenty of heart, and a lot of truth about what it means to live and farm in Saskatchewan. And sitting there, I couldn't help but think how those same struggles are still with us today. Our farmers are out there dealing with sky-high input costs, unpredictable markets, and trade tariffs that hit hard. Grain's getting harder to move some years, and producers are still at the mercy of big companies setting the rules. The faces and names have changed, but the fight for a fair return hasn't. I want to thank Dancing Sky Theatre for keeping this important story alive. Paper Wheat isn't just a history, it's a reminder of where we've been and what we're still working toward for the people who feed this province and the world.
Hear, hear.
I recognize the member from Yorkton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Earlier this month, Yorkton was filled with energy, color, and culture as we welcomed the 22nd annual Kalina Ukrainian Dance Festival. This year's event was especially meaningful, marking the 50th anniversary of the Kalina Ukrainian Dance School in Yorkton, a local treasure that's been celebrating Ukrainian heritage and tradition for 5 decades. Over 600 dancers from 26 clubs across Saskatchewan and Manitoba came together at the Anne Portneuf Theatre to showcase their talent, hard work, and culture. From the lively to the graceful, each performance was a reminder of the deep roots and vibrant spirit of Ukrainian culture. It was more than just a dance competition. It was a celebration of identity, community, and connection across generations. And it wouldn't have happened without the incredible volunteers, organizers, parents, and supporters who poured their time and heart into making it a success. The Ukrainian community is a strong, vibrant community who have done so much in shaping and building up our province to where it is today. To everyone involved in the Kalina Ukrainian Dance Club, thank you. You are helping keep Ukrainian heritage and traditions alive. You are building community, and for that we are all grateful. I invite all members to join me in recognizing this important event and the Kalina Ukrainian Dance School of Yorkton. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I recognize the member from Athabasca.
Ugamanapio, Mr. Speaker. I rise with news that one government has finally recognized the impact of survivors of the Isla Cross Residential School. The only thing wrong with that was it was not this provincial government. Instead, the federal government was able to make a $27 million settlement with the survivors. This is especially welcomed as the number of survivors who have passed away without ever having their experiences and stories acknowledged. My own grandparents, Mr. Speaker, are survivors of the Isla Cross Residential School, and they passed without being able to witness the historic day on March 3rd of this year. There are so many people to thank for the work they contribute to seeing this day through. I congratulate all of the survivors, those who are still with us and those that have passed. I thank their families for the patience and the continued advocacy. I congratulate the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan and Northern Region 3. And Mr. Speaker, I call upon the provincial government to do their part and acknowledge the experiences faced in this school, and that the provincial government had a hand in implementing, Mr. Speaker. It's the only way that reconciliation will be made possible in this province. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Hear, hear. I recognize the member from Moosomin Momart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Dr. Skulk Vandermeer of Moosomin, known to everyone simply as Dr. Van, was awarded the 2024 Saskatchewan Family Physician of the Year Award by the College of Family Physicians of Canada. Dr. Van immigrated to Canada from South Africa and established his practice in 1999. He works at the Moosomin Family Practice Centre, along with several other physicians. These include fellow South African immigrants Dr. Etienne Krause, who first recruited him to Moosomin, and Dr. Ross Kirchhoff, who nominated him for the award. Dr. Van leads by example and has helped inspire many other healthcare professionals through his commitment to teamwork, advocacy, and service for his patients, staff, and community. Being nominated by other physicians, his office staff, and the Mayor of Moosomin shows the incredible impact that he has had on his community. Dr. Van made sure to give thanks to all those who supported him through this process, crediting them for their work, which supported him and allowed him to earn this important award. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to invite the rest of the Assembly to join me in congratulating Dr. Skulk Vandermeer on receiving this award and thank him for his incredible work as a healthcare professional, truly exemplifying the meaning of leadership and what it means to be a caring, committed physician and a proud Saskatchewan resident. Thank you very much.
Question period. I recognize the Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, I have a simple question for the Premier. How many in his cabinet and in his caucus want to see Saskatchewan separate from Canada?
I recognize the Premier.
Hear, hear.
Zero.
Hear, hear.
I recognize the Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, that answer is all well and good, but the separatist group, United Grassroots, claims that they have supporters of their cause in that government's ranks. The member for Yorkton is, quote, one of us, they say. So to the Premier, I ask this, is that claim true? Is the member for Yorkton pro-separation, or has the Premier even...
I'm going to request that the member move on. The answer had been made. There's been a lot of call of separatists that I didn't call in the past. I'm just asking that we would keep it to things that can be debated about government business in the chamber. Recognize the Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the question I am asking is, has the Premier asked members of his caucus about where they stand on the issue of separation?
Sure.
I recognize the Premier.
Inform this House that the current member from Yorkton is not in any way interested in separating Saskatchewan from the nation of Canada. However, when you go back to the last referendum, separation referendum that occurred in this nation, Mr. Speaker, was in the province of Quebec in the mid-90s. It was at that point in time that there was a secret separation committee that was formed right here by then Premier Roy Romano, Mr. Speaker. It was under the boring title called Constitutional Contingencies, where the Premier of the day instructed this secret separation committee to rule out no scenario, including Saskatchewan following Quebec out of Canada. Mr. Speaker, I cannot say whether or not the member from Yorkton at that point in time was in favour of separating from Canada. However, I can inform the Assembly that the current member from Yorkton is not.
Hear, hear.
the Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, I think that there are probably many people in this Assembly and those following at home who will be happy to correct the Premier on that. But here, let's bring us to present day. Now, even talk of separation, Mr. Speaker, could cause serious harm to our economy. Yet, the Premier has done absolutely nothing to warn the public about these risks. And of course, as was just mentioned, we have an actual example of this, Mr. Speaker, not Mr. Romano, but in Quebec. The reality is that the threat of separating will cost us jobs, investments, and threatens entire head offices, Mr. Speaker. Now is the time for leaders to lead. Will the Premier say clearly to those who are campaigning for separation today that they're doing more harm than good, that they should knock it off, and that their campaign threatens jobs and investments here in this province today?
I recognize the Premier.
Speaker, the irony of the questions over the course of the last number of days in here, Mr. Speaker, from a party that just simply can't stop talking about separation from Canada, Mr. Speaker, asking to silence Saskatchewan voters' voices by increasing the criteria to 250,000, Mr. Speaker, a level that they simply just have not achieved even as a party since 1991, Mr. Speaker, which would then say that their voice as well should be silenced on the floor of this Assembly. I don't believe that to be the case, Mr. Speaker. Their party, when they had the opportunity, when the last separation a referendum took place in this nation, Mr. Speaker, immediately went to work with a secret separation committee, Mr. Speaker, looking at whether Saskatchewan should follow Quebec out of Canada.
I'm just going to remind the Assembly that we focus on government business and responses need to be answers to the questions, so I'll ask next question by the Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, people in this country know how hard Premier Romano fought for this country. And no one is talking about silencing any voices here. What I am asking for, Mr. Speaker, is for leaders to not be silent on things that matter to people in this province. And I'm not seeing a lot of leadership over there. Now, yesterday, Mr. Speaker, I made it clear that we will do everything we can to pass my bill to keep Saskatchewan in Canada. The Premier has promised members of this House a free vote on the issue, but yesterday his government not once but twice blocked attempts to bring that bill to a vote. Can the Premier confirm that he's scared to hold a vote on that bill because he's scared to make it clear to the people of Saskatchewan just how many on his team are curious or interested in having our province leave this beautiful country of Canada?
I recognize the Premier.
In the interest of transparency, Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition would like to share with who she consulted with to raise double the criteria for Saskatchewan residents to have their voice heard in between elections, Mr. Speaker. Was it the electoral office, the chief electoral officer, who had said that the criteria at 125,000 would likely never be met? Was it former Premier Romano, who himself set up a secret separation committee in the mid-90s, Mr. Speaker? Was it Saskatchewan people that she consulted with and said, hey, please take my voice away from me? I don't think it was any of them, Mr. Speaker. We will not be supporting in any way a bill that is deliberately put together with the intent, the sole intent, of silencing the voice of Saskatchewan people.
I recognize the member from Saskatoon Churchill-Wildwood.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know what's no secret? The fact that this government is doing a horrible job of running our healthcare system. Mr. Speaker, today we are joined by Ashley Benson Bonningville and Amber Benson. They're the granddaughters of a Mr. William Hasty, who tragically passed away earlier this year in Saskatoon. Their grandfather was a resident of the Northern Lights Care Home. Under their care, he froze to death. froze, a 96-year-old man who froze to death in our largest city in 2024. Can you imagine such a thing, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, our seniors should be guaranteed warmth and care. This is not what William got. What does the minister have to say about this tragic death?
I recognize the Minister of Remote and Rural Health.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I do thank the member opposite for the question. To Ashley and Amber, what I would say is that when we put our loved ones in long-term care facilities, we expect that they will be cared for, and that is my expectation of the people that are providing those services, and that is the standard of care that we all, as Saskatchewan residents, should expect, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Here. I recognize the member of Saskatoon, Churchill-Wildwood.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is not the first time that we've debated the Northern Lights Care Home in this spring session. In March, another family joined us with very similar concerns about the same facility. And last July, the member from Eastview wrote a letter to the minister expressing serious concerns about this facility living up to the standards of care. And this government chose to do nothing, absolutely nothing. And Mr. William Hasty's death was avoidable. It could have been prevented. What specifically did the minister do to check this facility after the member from Eastview flagged concerns about it?
I recognize the Minister of Seniors.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with respect, I wasn't in this chair last July, so I haven't seen that letter. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, the concerns that the member opposite brings forward are very, very serious. Mr. Speaker, as soon as we had heard about the incident that took place, an investigation was launched into this care home, Mr. Speaker, and I also understand, with regard to this specific case, that it's been referred to the coroner's office for further investigation, and so we are awaiting that final report, and we will continue to look into what happened and take action appropriate, Mr. Speaker. We have on our provincial page, all care homes in the province are put under a review process. At this current point in time, all of those care homes are up to date. And when an incident does come forward, Mr. Speaker, it's looked at specifically, and that's what we are doing in this case. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Recognize the member from Saskatoon, Churchill-Wildwood.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, it is sad that this tragic death had to occur to get these homes finally inspected. And this home has been inspected, finally. However, it went almost 4 years between inspections prior to William's death. The public, such as Ashley and Amber, trusted their loved ones to this facility under the assumption that the government was following its own laws and its own procedures. If the government had followed its own laws and procedures, tragedies such as this one could have been avoided. Why did it take Mr. Hasty's death to occur for this government to finally follow its own laws and procedures?
I recognize the Minister of Seniors.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we've talked about this in committee and we've talked about this on the floor of this Assembly, Mr. Speaker. We are following the processes that are in place, and this has come to our attention. It is unacceptable when we put our loved ones in long-term care. We expect that the facilities that they're in will take care of them, Mr. Speaker. As I mentioned, it is being looked into. The coroner is looking into it, Mr. Speaker, and I look forward to those results.
I recognize the member from Regina Walsh Acres.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, yesterday, the Minister of Government Relations would not answer any of my questions in committee on Bill 21. Now, you can look this up in Hansard on page 109, Mr. Speaker, but apparently he is, quote, absolutely unqualified, unquote, to answer them. Now, Bill 21 would have volunteer firefighters burn down dilapidated buildings in our communities. These buildings do pose a serious problem that municipalities need support dealing with. But if we want to address this problem, it needs to be done responsibly and after thorough consultation. So, to the Minister of Environment, can he guarantee the safety of firefighters and Saskatchewan communities if this bill is passed?
Here. I recognize the Minister of the Environment.
Here, here. Here, here. Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
and thank the member opposite for the question. I can definitely guarantee that consultations will be ongoing throughout the summer. We are going to work together with all of our partners, SARM and SUMA, that bring this to the table. This is a voluntary program, Mr. Speaker, and there's some communities are going to be very excited to partake in it. There's some volunteer fire departments that are very excited to partake in it, and there's some that aren't going to have an interest in it. And that's fine, Mr. Speaker. All we're doing as a government is providing communities with a framework to allow them to provide a training scenario for their world-class volunteer fire departments, Mr. Speaker, and that's one thing we're always going to be on the side of. Thank you.
Here, here.
I recognize the member from Regina Walsh Acres.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, I have been listening to municipalities and firefighters since this pilot project was announced a few months ago. This government has not consulted with firefighters about the pilot, and these are the folks that are going to be on the front lines of burning these buildings down. Firefighters are concerned about the health and safety of their members and that of their communities if this bill passes. Now, to quote the president of the Volunteer Firefighters Association, quote, "Government has been advocating to keep our firefighters safe from unnecessary exposure to cancer-causing toxins, and this proposed legislation flies in the face of that," end quote. Asbestos, lead paint, asphalt shingles, these are all very real hazards facing firefighters. Will the minister listen to firefighters and scrap this dangerous bill?
Here, here.
I recognize the Minister of the Environment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are definitely going to continue the consultation process. It's ongoing, and it's going to be consulted over the summers, Mr. Speaker. And if the member's office...
Order, please.
The members opposite are very concerned and reading quotes into the record, Mr. Speaker. I mean, that's not a challenge. So I'm going to read a quote into the Hansard, Mr. Speaker. "The derelict building pilot program is going to be a valuable tool for smaller rural departments to properly train new recruits as well as veteran firefighters in offensive firefighting in a controlled environment." That is coming from the fire chief of the community of Strasbourg, which I have the honor to represent, Mr. Speaker. This is going to be an ongoing process, Mr. Speaker. Consultations are going to carry on. Thank you.
I recognize the member from Saskatoon, Silver Springs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the fiasco involving the GTH and a much-needed second Costco stinks to high heaven. Here's what we know. Regina taxpayers are out nearly $7 million. The Sask party started a bidding war with Regina City Council. The minister won't tell us why. He won't even answer questions from the press. Today, Mr. Speaker, I brought forward a motion to the Public Accounts Committee seeking a provincial auditor investigation into this mess, but Sask party MLAs voted it down. My question, Mr. Speaker, is why? What are they trying to hide?
I recognize the Minister of GTH.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I said yesterday, the Global Transportation Hub is a logistic distribution centre that supports the local economy, provincial economy, and the national economy, Mr. Speaker. Colliers, who represents the Global Transportation Hub, was approached by Costco to look at the opportunity, if in the event of their expansion, becoming a distribution centre. Mr. Speaker, that is not the case now, and the Global Transportation Hub is not interested in competing with the City of Regina. If Costco is going to make it a distribution centre, it would have made more sense for it to be in the Global Transportation Hub. Now that we know it is retail, it will be in Westera, Mr. Speaker.
Here, here. I recognize the member from Saskatoon, Silver Springs.
Mr. Speaker, clearly we're not getting any answers about how this GTH Costco fiasco happened in the first place. And the Sask party has its hands all over this mess at every turn. The people in Regina are out $7 million. It's their hard-earned money, and it's money that could have been used to fix roads, to improve city services, to cut taxes, and more. My question to the minister is simple. Will he pay the people of Regina back?
I recognize the Minister of the GTA.
Mr. Speaker, as I said in my previous answer, and as I said yesterday, Mr. Speaker, the Global Transportation Hub is a logistic distribution hub that helps grow the economy both at a local level, provincial level, and at a national level, Mr. Speaker. As I said before, Colliers is the agent for the Global Transportation Hub, which was approached by Costco to look at the opportunity in their expansion that it could be a distribution hub, Mr. Speaker. In the event that it did become a distribution hub, which it did not, that we saw that the right location for the Costco store was in West Era in the City of Regina, and we welcome that investment into the City of Regina, and we welcome the 300 jobs that come along with it, Mr. Speaker.
I recognize the member from Saskatoon Fairview.
Mr. Speaker, the Sask Party broke our public health care system and they can't be trusted to fix it. After 18 years of the Sask Party government, our health care system is in last place and things are set to get even worse with cuts in the provincial budget. Cutting health care makes zero sense, especially when so many are forced to go without the care they need close to home. Saskatchewan people understand this, healthcare workers understand this, but the Sask Party doesn't get it. Why won't the Minister of Health listen to healthcare workers and stop the cuts to healthcare?
I recognize the Minister of Health.
Well, Mr. Speaker, that's why we didn't cut the healthcare budget in this year's budget, Mr. Speaker. In fact, we added an increase of $485 million, or about 6.4%, to the health budget compared to the previous year's budget, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is in contrast. Again, I've canvassed this on the floor of the Assembly before. The opposition party, in their election platform last fall, Mr. Speaker, they committed $300 less to spend on health care, Mr. Speaker. This is a government, again, Mr. Speaker, that through our ambitious Health Human Resources Action Plan, we're working on adding more staff, training more staff in Saskatchewan, all in the aim of improving access to health care for patients right across Saskatchewan.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear. I recognize the member from Saskatoon Fairview.
Well, it's too bad for the minister. We can all do basic math, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, LPNs from SEIU West are here today as part of Nursing Week to speak out against the Sask Party government's terrible mismanagement in healthcare. We need to be investing in frontline care, not cutting $17 million in the Sask Party budget. They've gone 3 years without a raise. They can't fully do the jobs that they're trained to do. They're burning out because of chronic short staffing and because of how poorly they are being treated by this government. What does the minister have to say to these frontline workers, the ones that are still here, that we still have left, who are being failed so badly by this government?
I recognize the Minister of Health. Hear, hear.
You know, Mr. Speaker, I'll offer some math of my own, and this math is from the College of Licensed Practical Nurses of Saskatchewan, Mr. Speaker. Since the start of our Health Human Resources Action Plan, the most ambitious plan in the country, Mr. Speaker, we have added 220 practicing LPNs in this province, Mr. Speaker. Over this party's time in government, Mr. Speaker, nearly tripled the number of LPN training seats in the province, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I had an opportunity to meet with members from SEIU West yesterday, had some really great discussion about how we expand scope for LPNs, Mr. Speaker, how we can improve training opportunities for those wanting to be CCAs or LPNs in this province, Mr. Speaker. We're going to continue working with our partners like SEIU West, the other provider unions, and the Saskatchewan Union of Nurses, Mr. Speaker, to continue improving the healthcare system in this province.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear. I recognize the member from Saskatoon Southeast.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today we are joined by Danae Samar, Executive Director for ALS Saskatchewan, Terry Laustel, and Christine LaSalle. Mr. Speaker, ALS Saskatchewan has been denied funding for 3 years. Danae has met with the minister multiple times. They currently are 100% donor funded. This is not sustainable. ALS Sask provides a social worker who gives emotional support and helps the navigation and immediate access to equipment that would otherwise take 6 months to access through Sask Abilities. Why won't the Sask Party fund this important service for people in Saskatchewan?
I recognize the Minister of Health.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I welcome Denis and his guests to the Legislature. I've had the opportunity to speak with Denis on several files, including this one here, with marking his work with the ALS Society of Saskatchewan. Mr. Speaker, the ALS Society does incredible work, as the member opposite pointed out, supported by donor funds all over the province, Mr. Speaker, to make sure that patients have access to the services that they need, Mr. Speaker. We've been communicating, going back and forth with the ALS Society for a number of years, Mr. Speaker, to talk about, to understand the services that they provide and how government can be there to support, Mr. Speaker. I had an opportunity to meet with the ALS Society not too long ago, Mr. Speaker. We'll continue those discussions and understanding how we can better support those with ALS in Saskatchewan. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I recognize the member from Saskatoon Southeast.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The minister cannot refuse to fund an organization and then be surprised when it's forced to shut down. Mr. Speaker, ALS Saskatchewan is facing closures due to lack of funding.
That's right.
If the minister needs to hear more about how great ALS Sask is, I encourage him to meet with Terry, who is currently battling ALS. I don't understand why the minister does not support this organization and want to fund them so they can continue to support Saskatchewan residents with ALS. Without funding, the minister cannot possibly envision any future for this province, but one without ALS Saskatchewan. Will the minister provide ALS Sask with funding and meet with this delegation today?
Recognize the Minister of Health.
Mr. Speaker, I know the member opposite is new, but funding decisions are not made on the floor of the Assembly in question period. Mr. Speaker, the government absolutely supports the work of the ALS Society of Saskatchewan. We recognize the important work that they do, Mr. Speaker, serving families around the province, Mr. Speaker. As I said in my previous answer, we'll continue our discussions with Denny and his organization. I'd be happy to have a few minutes with Terry after question period to hear directly from her and her lived experience, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
I recognize the member from Cumberland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will say that I am definitely not new to Saskatchewan and definitely not new to northern Saskatchewan like the member opposite. Mr. Speaker, the wildfire season is here. People in the north are already seeing smoke in their communities, and many are worried that this year could be another terrible year for wildfires. What is the provincial government doing to ensure northerners will be safe from wildfires this year? Will there be enough resources to fight the fires and keep people and their homes safe? And will they work with local First Nations and Métis people and municipal leaders to coordinate this year's fire response?
I recognize the Minister of Policing and Corrections.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and our government will absolutely be ensuring that we have enough resources to support the firefighters in the north, making sure that this is yet another successful firefighting season for the SPSA, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know that the member from Regina Rosemont really wants to hear about the new plane that we've got coming to assist in the firefighting suppression, Mr. Speaker, and that plane will be unveiled in the next month and will be added to the fleet. Mr. Speaker, we are pleased that the province of Quebec has provided additional resources to address the current situation. We've got the state of Alaska is providing an additional plane, Mr. Speaker, that will be arriving next week. We have these agreements, Mr. Speaker, between provinces throughout the nation of Canada and with our American partners to make sure that each of us has enough resources to address the wildfire situations in our province and keep our communities safe. And that will continue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Ministerial statements. Oh, sorry. I recognize the Government House Leader.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
What's the point of order?
Mr. Speaker, during question period, the member from Regina Walsh-Acres alleged that the Minister of Government Relations refused to answer his questions in committee yesterday. He also purported to quote that minister as having said that he was unqualified to answer. Mr. Speaker, those statements are inaccurate and untrue. Hansard clearly reflects that it was the committee chair who ruled that member's questions out of order yesterday. So the member from Walsh-Acres is not only misquoting an honourable member of this House, but he is also challenging a ruling of the chair. Mr. Speaker, I would ask that you find this point of order well taken, have that member withdraw, apologize, and be cautioned for challenging a ruling of the chair.
I recognize the Deputy Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I understand that yesterday at committee there were a number of questions. Sorry?
House Leader, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I understand, just on the point of order raised by the Government House Leader, I understand there were a number of questions put to the Minister yesterday at committee where he said he was not qualified to answer those questions. The member provided a pinpoint reference in Hansard. I would ask you to review the record before making any kind of finding, and I would ask you to find that the point raised by the Government House Leader is not well taken.
Hear, hear.
So I would ask, I'm fairly new at this, I know the quote that you are referencing because I happened to read it. I wasn't sure if you were quoting from the minister or from the chair, that it was mentioning that he wasn't qualified, that the minister wasn't qualified to comment. So I'm going to have to actually review the questions that were asked to understand what was said and what was a point of order, and come back tomorrow if that's all right and discuss it. But thank you for your patience, but tomorrow I will look into that. Ministerial statements. Introduction of bills. Presenting reports by standing and special committees. I recognize the chair of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts.
Mr. Speaker, I'm instructed by the Standing Committee on Public Accounts to present its first report, which reflects the work of the committee for the period of May 9th, 2024 to May 13th, 2025. I move that the first report of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts be now concurred in.
It has been moved by the chair that the first report of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts be now concurred in. Is the Assembly ready for the question? Is it the pleasure of the Assembly to adopt the motion? Carried. I recognize the chair of the Standing Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs and Justice.
Mr. Speaker, I am instructed by the Standing Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs and Justice to report Bill Number 21, the Construction Codes Derelict Buildings Amendment Act 2025, without amendment.
When shall this bill be considered in the Committee of the Whole on Bills? I recognize the Minister of Government Relations.
I request leave to waive consideration of the Committee of the Whole on this bill and that the bill be read a third time.
The Minister has requested leave to waive consideration in the Committee of the Whole on Bill Number 21, the Construction Codes Derelict Buildings Amendment Act 2025, without amendment, and that the bill be now read the third time. Is leave granted? Agreed. The Minister may proceed to move third reading.
I move that the bill be now read a third time and passed under its title.
It has been moved by the Minister that the bill be now read the third time and passed under its title. Is the Assembly ready for the question? Is it the pleasure of the Assembly to adopt the motion? Carried. Orders of the day. I recognize the Deputy Opposition House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I would just note that on the previous item of business, I did stand, but I'm not sure if you saw us. The the opposition whip and myself stood for that vote.
Oh my, oh my. Now that is offside. Please everyone quiet while I'm going to... We're going to move on. Orders of the day. I recognize the Deputy Opposition House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding the government's agenda and what's published in the orders of the day today, I request leave to move the following motion. Quote that the Assembly immediately consider second readings, Bill number 604, the Referendum and Plebiscite Keep Saskatchewan and Canada Amendment Act. End quote.
The member has requested leave. Is leave granted? No. Leave is not granted. Orders of the day. I thought we moved on.
Written questions. Written question number 6, asked by MLA Jorgensen.
I recognize the government whip.
I wish to order question number 6.
The questions to number 6. The question number 6 is ordered.
Question number 7, MLA Young, Regina South Alberta.
I recognize the government whip.
I wish to table question number 7.
Question number 7 is tabled.
Written question number 8, asked by MLA Young, Regina South Alberta.
I recognize the government whip.
I wish to order questions number 8 to 30.
Questions number 8 to 30 are ordered. I'm advised that Her Honour the Administrator is here for royal assent. All please rise.
Your Honour, the Administrator of Saskatchewan.
Pray be seated.
May it please Your Honour, this Legislative Assembly at its present session has passed several bills which in the name of the Assembly I present to Your Honour and to which bills I respectfully request Your Honour's assent.
Your Honor, the bills are as follows. Bill number 6, the Safe Public Spaces Street Weapons Act. Bill number 10, the Miscellaneous Statute Public Registries Enhancement Amendment Act 2024. Bill number 11, the Miscellaneous Statutes Public Registry Enhancement Amendment Act 2024, number 2. Bill number 9, the Traffic Safety Amendment Act 2024. Bill number 13, the Income Tax Amendment Act 2025. Bill number 16, the Provincial Sales Tax Amendment Act 2025. Bill number 8, the Child Care New Facilities Amendment Act 2024. Bill number 601, the Sikh Heritage Month Act. Bill number 17, the Saskatchewan Commercial Innovation Incentive Patent Box Amendment Act 2025. Bill number 20, the Small and Medium Enterprise SME Investment Tax Credit Act. Bill number 4, the Workers' Compensation Amendment Act 2024. Bill number 5, the Saskatchewan Employment Amendment Act 2024. Bill number 3, the Safer Communities and Neighbourhoods Amendment Act 2024. Bill number 14, the Power Corporation Amendment Act 2025. Bill number 15, the Alcohol and Gaming Regulation Amendment Act 2025. Bill number 18, the Regulated Health Professions Act. Bill number 19, the Regulated Health Professions Consequential Amendment Act 2025. Bill number 7, the Court of Appeal Residency Amendment Act 2024. Bill number 22, the King's Bench Amendment Act 2025. Bill number 21, the Construction Code Derelict Buildings Amendment Act 2025.
In His Majesty's name, I assent to these bills.
May it please Your Honour, this Legislative Assembly has voted the supplies required to enable the government to defray the expenses of the public service. In the name of the Assembly, I present to Your Honour Bill number 23, the Appropriation Act 2025, number 1, to which bill I respectfully request Your Honour's assent.
In His Majesty's name, I thank the Legislative Assembly, accept its benevolence, and assent to this bill.
Please rise for the departure of the oath. Please be seated. I recognize the Government House Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I move that this Assembly do now adjourn.
It has been moved that this Assembly do now adjourn. Is it the pleasure of the Assembly to adopt the motion? Calling the members. The question before the Assembly is the motion put forward by the Government House Leader that this Assembly do now adjourned. Would all those in favour of the motion please rise?
MLA Moe.
Yes.
MLA Harrison Kennedy.
Yes.
MLA Kading.
Yes.
MLA Merritt.
Yes.
MLA Cockrell.
Yes.
MLA Ryder.
Yes.
MLA Harrison Meadow Lake.
Yes.
MLA Jensen.
Yes.
MLA Young Lloydminster.
Yes.
MLA Shoveldale.
Yes.
MLA Keesing.
Yes.
MLA Forsteenson.
Yes.
MLA Martins.
Yes.
MLA Hilbert.
Yes.
MLA Steele.
Yes.
MLA Schmalz.
Yes.
MLA Ross.
Yes.
MLA McLeod, Moose Jaw North.
Yes.
MLA Carr.
Yes.
MLA Wilson.
Yes.
MLA Weedmark.
Yes.
MLA Beaudry.
Yes.
MLA McLeod, Lumsden Morris.
Yes.
MLA Craflow.
Yes.
MLA Crop.
Yes.
MLA Uyghur.
Yes.
MLA Patterson.
Yes.
MLA Brown.
Yes.
MLA Roden.
Yes.
MLA Chan.
Yes.
MLA Gardner.
Yes.
MLA Kassoon.
Yes.
All of those opposed to the motion, please stand.
MLA Beck.
No.
MLA Ritchie.
No.
MLA Berkey.
No.
MLA Nikki Albrecht.
No.
MLA Mowat.
No.
MLA Weatherspoon.
No.
MLA Love.
No.
MLA T.
No.
MLA Young, Regina South Albert.
No.
MLA La Liberté.
No.
MLA McPhail.
No.
MLA Brecker.
No.
MLA Conway.
No.
MLA Blakey.
No.
MLA Graywall.
No.
MLA Chiefak.
No.
MLA Jorgensen.
No.
MLA Brar.
No.
MLA Gordon.
No.
MLA Warrington.
No.
MLA Cratchler.
No.
MLA Hauser.
No.
MLA Singer.
No.
MLA Watt.
No.
Those in favor of the motion, 32. Those opposed to the motion, 24.
I declare the motion carried. This assembly stands adjourned until tomorrow at 1:30 p.m.